I'm here, thank you. Our MC Rana. My my area is as big as Region 11, Middle East and Africa. So,
Okay.
um, here, could I please request the host to enable for me to share my screen? Maybe the timer can still. Perfect.
Done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, our MC and our timer. Just to let you know that when our president, Shubhashri, came up with such an innovative series of having different episodes of parliamentary procedures, probably every meeting or every alternate meeting. So I will leave the planning to the president and VP Education for now. But we are going to go in series where we are not going to dive deep into the oceans of parliamentary procedures because this workshop is probably 2 hours plus workshop if we take it as a whole. But we are going to go with something innovative, something effective. We learn a little and we try to apply it. And there is where we can excel in any knowledge. And in this case, we are talking about parliamentary procedure. Now, the subject is quite boring. That's why I like the idea. I won't bore you for like 2, 3 hours, but 10 minutes and then 5 minutes of question answers every session. This will ensure that the load is not so much on the club members and the guests, and they are free to ask questions. Now, before also I go ahead, I would like to say that we'll be having question answer session, and our VP Education, Rashid, is going to help us with playing the role of the moderator for today. Okay, so let's get started. So parliamentary procedures, we all know what it is, but can anybody just quickly tell me, what do you know about parliamentary procedures? Anyone, just unmute your mic and speak, or you can put in the chat, that's even better, so everybody can read. One can speak, others can put in the chat.
Basically, the things that you should doing in the parliamentary or you shouldn't be doing in parliamentary.
Exactly. Good, that's very good, Balu. So let's proceed. That's a good attempt, Balu. Things what we are supposed to do, what we are not supposed to do. You can take screenshots of these. I'll just say the keywords. It's a set of rules to help groups achieve their objectives, code of ethics that relate to the conduct of meetings. It's founded on democratic principles. It teaches concept of teamwork, help transact business effectively. So that's very important. And if you see all these points in your screen, they are actually applied to any meeting, whether club business meeting, whether the area, whether the division or the district, the region, world headquarters. Every meeting will be a successful meeting if these main points are applied. And it simply means that we are following parliamentary procedures, and these are some benefits. Robert Rules of Orders is followed for us, especially in Toastmasters International, in our meetings. And why? Because Toastmasters International has decided years back from now to go for Robert Rules of Order as their reference guide for parliamentary procedures. Thanks to Henry Martin Robert, he was the person who wrote Robert Rules of Order. He served in the army, and it's a very interesting story, which I'll just say it in one line. While he was stationed in one of the camps, in a very boring night, he started writing parliamentary procedures, because when he used to attend meetings in his area in the church, there used to be meetings, and sometimes the meetings used to be delayed. There used to be debates about community services, and he used to just watch and try to cool both sides down. There is where he decided, I am going to write a book on how to hold meeting effectively. So you see how people get inspired from incidents around them, and then they come and do such great work, which will be known for several years. You'll, I don't have that screenshot now with me, but as of today, we have the 11th edition of Parliamentary Procedures. Over the span of so many years, so 11th one has come out, and soon we might have the next one because it keeps improving. New conflicts, new clashes, and then the authors they add it in the next version, how to solve that. So that's quite interesting. Basic definitions, we all should know what is a quorum. Normal quorum of any club is minimum number of members to transact business. Sometimes I remember I put a quiz in one of my workshops. I put what is it called? Minimum number of members required to transact business. I put two choices. I put quorum and I put hurram. And I was surprised that people did choose hurram. So now I had to tell the audience whether they were just being sarcastic or they knew that quorum is what is supposed to be the answer. So jokes apart, so next thing is constitution. Since I am talking to club members, it's a club level event or club level series of parliamentary procedures. We maybe not everybody wants to read the club constitution, but we should know it exists. We follow the club constitution given to us by Toastmasters International. And believe it or not, all the problems we may face is answered in the club constitution. So I've done a separate workshop a few times on club constitution as well. Then we come to bylaws. Now these bylaws are something which we can change to a certain extent in our clubs. For example, back in 2004, I came up, when I was the president of a club, I came up with a bylaw that if any DTM makes 5 hours, they pay 100 fills to the treasurer. And this process goes up to 500 fills every meeting, maximum. So if a DTM makes 50 hours and owns, then they pay 500 fills to the treasurer, maximum. And if it is 100, still 500 fills. So we made some bylaws, we got it approved back in 2004, then we enhanced it in 2005, and that process went on. So on the right side of the screen, you will see motion and presiding officer. So motion is something where you are expressing a call to action. If you are just standing and giving your opinion, that's not a motion. That's not considered to be a motion. So we'll look into that final slide where we are going to start with the basic thing, how to come up with the main motion. Presiding officer in our case is our president, Shubhashri. In case if the president is not around, it's whoever presides the meeting. Okay? So these are some terms which we should know by default. Especially, we are honored to be members of an advanced club. So being a member of the advanced club, we have a responsibility to put up a good show for our regular session and even the business session. A quick look at fundamental principles. This is a framework given to us. Some people ask why parliamentary procedures? In a way, is that really important? It's very simple. It makes sure we have an effective meeting. The points which I gave earlier and adding a few more here. Justice and courtesy to all, do only one thing at a time, majority rules. People say what's in for the minority. Anyway, majority is going to vote. So we will anyway be left out. The magic here is minority, they have the right to be heard. So when they get up, the minority speaks. Maybe some people from the majority will start saying, yeah, by the way, they have a point actually. They might shift sides. So it's a very democratic way of or democratic procedure. We all know this, and if you didn't, just have a quick look at it. Call to order, it's very important. The president or presiding officer should call the meeting to order, call the business session to order, adjourn the business session, even if it is a regular meeting. Read and approve the minutes. If the minutes are sent by email, no problem. Just say, as sent by email, can we approve it? Reports like what we saw, it was taken today, reports of special committees, special orders. Special committee is, for example, the president appointed a committee to audit the club report, the club budget or the club assets. Special orders can be a special election. God forbid one of the officers resigned and then we need a special election done. I'm just giving an example. Unfinished business could be something which is taken off from the table from the last meeting and we bring it to this meeting. And then we have the new business, something which has never been discussed before, and the adjournment. Now, one thing we need to understand, little bit off track parliamentary procedures, though it's somehow part of parliamentary procedures, even to call or stop a meeting, we use the power of the gavel. So there in parliamentary procedures, there is a one tap has a meaning, two taps of the gavel has a meaning, three taps has a meaning. Okay. Now this is the most important part. I can't see the timer. So this is the last slide for the day. Then we move to the question and answers. A member makes a motion. That's very important. That member raises his hand or asks for permission. Madam President, Mr. President. The President gives the permission to speak. That's important. You cannot just go and just get up and say whatever you want. You should ask for the permission. When you state the motion, Madam President, I move that we go for picnic this Friday. Another member should second this motion. Then the presiding officer places this motion before the group. Once it's placed before the group, then it becomes the property of the House. The motion is up for debate. Like any debate, one for, one against, one for, one against. The President will decide how much time is left and how much the cycle can go on. Then the motion is put to vote and the President, presiding officer, announces the results. Now, any questions, Rashid, we can take on this slide because I can already see yellow.
Yeah, so far nobody has written any questions from the audience.
So can I continue? Or
yeah, you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah, you can continue. I think if there is a question, please write in. Anyone?
Okay. Now, let us practice quickly. Can anybody volunteer? Just please be quick. Anyone, please? Can you please volunteer for this? I'll act like a president, and you just come up with a motion. Someone second it, and I will tell you if the procedure is correct or not. Okay? DTM Claire, you may go ahead. DTM Claire, you may go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
There we go. Good evening, and thank you for being informing us about parliamentary procedures. I'd like to put forward the motion that DTM Ali shares these slides with us, because I think there's so much information there, and it's, other than taking notes, etc., I think it would be good for us to review it and maybe we could have a quiz at our next meeting. You could quiz us on what we've actually recall from the presentation. That is my motion, that DTM Ali shares the content of his presentation with us. Even in note form would be fine.
So, DTM Claire, I challenge you to put this motion in few words only. Let's say maximum 10 words.
I put forward the motion that our speaker shares the content of his presentation with members.
Okay. Anyone to second that? I saw Saira raising her hand before. Okay.
I, Saira Ranch, member of Vision Advanced Toastmasters, would like to second Claire's motion.
Okay, perfect. Now, you see this now, before I repeat what the motion was, now there was a motion and it has been seconded. Now when I repeat it, it becomes a property of the house. Just one point here, according to the new book, it says this person who's seconding the motion does not have to recognize herself. We do that in the district council because it's a huge council. This admin manager who's sitting there in the district council can't find where is it coming from, who is the speaker. So in that case, it's okay. Fine. So now I'm going to repeat this. There is a motion on the floor that the speaker shares the slide with the club members. And now when I said this, this motion becomes the property of the house. I cannot just withdraw it by my wish because the time has gone, the house time has been utilized here. So it's not
Ali, you have 1 minute to wrap it up.
1 minute left. Okay. So then we can put this to debate. Why Claire made this motion? Why someone can go against it, and then we can put it forward. So since we have 1 minute, I'll stop here. And any questions, please put it in the chat. Anything, maybe Rashid can take it from here if any questions. Rashid?
Yes, I have a question, DTM Ali.
Okay.
And when the secretary sent the agenda and in the next meeting asked to raise a motion to accept the agenda, the person or the member who is going to propose or accept the motion should be the person who attended the last meeting or not necessarily?
No, that person should be an active member.
No, active member, I know, but he should attend the last meeting or no need?
No need.
No need. So he can raise a motion or accept the motion even if he did not attend the last meeting.
Exactly.
Of the minutes. Okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yes.
I have a question here, DTM Ali. How can a person who's not attended the meeting propose for the minutes of the meeting?
Well, the minutes of the meeting is not limited to who attended or who didn't attend. Every active member of a club has the right to accept something, reject something, put a motion. It's regardless, their attendance is not important. Even if they didn't attend for 6 months, but they can still move a motion, I accept the minutes, or let's accept it, let's reject it. That doesn't matter. The whole purpose of the minutes is for the records and actually for people who didn't attend the meeting. So they are supposed to read it. But regardless, even if they didn't read it, that doesn't matter.
Oh.
So Rashid, any questions on the chat? So you have the timer and the moderator as well.
I think there is a question. Can we do a more? Okay. Questions, we'll take it on our second session that will be in our coming meeting. So hang on to your questions. Inshallah, we'll be answering it. Just to let you all know that